friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where today we are going to be learning how to make this stitch that I used on the Not-So-Scrappy Blanket. The Not-So-Scrappy Blanket uses 12 different colors that I have paired together to create 6 different colorways to create this really cohesive yet scrappy looking blanket. For today's video tutorial, you will need some worsted weight yarn held double or bulky weight yarn, and you will also need a 9mm crochet hook. Just a little bit about this blanket before we get started. It is made with worsted weight yarn held double, which is the equivalent of a bulky weight yarn. To make your blanket just like mine, what you can do is purchase one color of each of the colors within Lion Brand's Remake yarn line. There are 12 colors, and I have mine paired in a certain way. All of that information is in the blog post that I have linked below in the description. Today, what we are going to be doing is we are going to be making the gauge swatch for this pattern so that I could show you how to create this beautiful waving ripple. The multiple for that pattern is 17 plus 3. All of this information is included on the blog post that is linked below. That does include the written free pattern. There are also options to purchase a PDF on Etsy and Ravelry, or if you do need yarn and want to make yours just like mine, you can grab an all-in-one DIY kit from Lion Brand. For today's video tutorial, I am using the color combination of Split Pea and Hazelnut because to begin, I'm going to make a slip knot, insert my hook, and pull my loop tight. I am then going to chain 37 stitches, since 37 is a multiple of 17 plus 3. Now that I have my 37 stitches, I'm going to continue with the row 1 instructions. So row 1 starts by placing a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So this is the top of my chain and this is the back of my chain. I like to work my stitches in the back bump. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to place a double crochet in that 4th chain. Now that double crochet and this chain 4 here that we've skipped counts as a double crochet, so this is essentially an increase. Next, what we are going to do is place 2 double crochet in each of the next 2 chains, so those are essentially increase stitches. So we are making a total of 4 double crochets over 2 chains. And then next, to begin the repeat, we are going to skip the next chain and double crochet in the next, and we will repeat that 5 times. So here I have my 5 double crochet with a skipped chain in between each. And then the next part of the repeat says to skip the next chain and place 2 double crochet in each of the next chains. So that would be a total of 12 double crochet stitches worked over 6 chains. So here that completes those 2 double crochet in each of the next 6 chains for a total of 12 double crochet. So you can see this is starting to curve. If I lay this flat, you could see we're creating that waving pattern, and that is the repeat for row 1. Row 1 then says that you are going to repeat what we just did until you have 14 stitches remaining, which is what I have left here. I have 14 chains. So what we will do to complete row 1 is skip the next chain and double crochet in the next 5 times. By skipping these chain stitches, that's going to start to bring the wave pattern back up before we add the increases to come back down. So you could see those 5 double crochet that all skip those chains starting to bring this back up. And then next what we will do, we've got 4 chains remaining right here. We are going to skip the next chain and we are going to place 2 double crochet in each of these 3 remaining chains for a total of 6 double crochet. Okay, so you could see how we're getting that waving pattern by having these series of sections where we are skipping stitches and then we are doing increase stitches to create that bend. Moving on to row 2, we are going to turn our work, chain 1, and then we are going to single crochet across in each stitch. So the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so I'm going to single crochet in that first stitch and then single crochet in each next stitch across. So in the single crochet row, there are no increases or decreases happening. You are just going to place a single crochet in every stitch that you created from row 1. If you are following along with the written pattern, now would be where you would cut your yarn and move to another color. I've got Jack's safety scissors. I cannot find any of my embroidery scissors right now, so these we'll just have to do. Then you are going to choose your next color. So a little tip on color changes, how I like to do them is I like to pull out my last stitch. I'm going to come in as if I'm going to create my single crochet. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and pull up my colors that I'm working with currently. And then what I will do is I'm going to grab my new color and place that over my hook, and I will use that to complete my stitch. And so that hides this really nicely on the ends for your color changes. And then I will make sure I could pull a little bit out so that this way I have enough of an end to weave in later. And then I'm going to continue on to row 3. So for row 3, we are going to turn and chain 3. Now, if you're following along in the written pattern, there is a note that says all stitches in row 3 are worked in the back loop, okay? So that is noted before the row 3 instructions to kind of help to really drive it home that those stitches are all worked in the back loop. So that is what's going to give that beautiful raised ridge look on this blanket. So the chain 3 that we just created does count as a double crochet. And then we are going to double crochet in the back loop of the same stitch that we just created our chain 3 in. So to work in the back loops, if you look at all of these single crochets that we made, this is the top of the stitch, this is the front loop, and this is the back loop. So we are only working in the back loops for row 3. So I am going to yarn over and insert my hook in the back loop of this first stitch right here. And then I'm going to complete my double crochet. Now this chain 3 does count as a stitch. If you would like, you could use a stacked single crochet here, or you can just stick to the chain 3s. Next, we are going to place 2 double crochet in the back loop of each of the next 2 stitches. So in these 2 stitches, working only in the back loops, we are going to place 2 double crochets for some increases. Then next, what we are going to do is skip this next stitch, and we are going to double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and we will repeat that 5 times. So skip this next stitch and then double crochet in the back loop of the next. Skip another stitch, double crochet in the back loop of the next, and do that for a total of 5. So you can see we're continuing to create that bend, and then we are going to skip the next stitch and place 2 double crochet in the back loop only of the next stitch, and we will do that 6 times, so for a total of 12 stitches. Again, make sure as you work your row 3, you are only working in the back loop for all of these stitches. So we will then again repeat that until 14 stitches remain. When you have 14 stitches remaining, what we will do next is skip the next stitch and then double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch for a total of 5 times. And then when you get to the end, you will skip 1 more stitch and you will place 2 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Now be careful here because sometimes your last stitches can be hard to see, and I don't want you to potentially skip any stitches. You can see we have that beautiful wave that is starting, and that is essentially the repeat. So you're repeating rows 2 and 3 for the entirety of this pattern. So now that we have just completed row 3, I'm going to repeat row 2, which would be to turn, chain 1. Remember, the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and I'm going to single crochet in every stitch across. Again, on the single crochet rows, we do use both loops. The only row that you are using the back loops for is the row 3 repeat. And again, so coming here again to the end of a row 3 repeat, you will cut your yarn and pull in your next color. Again, I like to remove my last stitch, and then before I complete it, I put my new color over, pull up my loop, make sure I have enough tail, turn, chain 3. Oh, you know what? I mentioned the stacked single crochet before, didn't I? So let me just show you that. So instead of a chain 3, if you would like, you can make a stacked single crochet. I would recommend, if you do that, to work that in just the back loop to kind of make sure that you don't eat up all of this. So let me just show you how to make a stacked single crochet. So instead of a chain 3, you can make a stacked single crochet. So come here into the back loop of this last stitch, bring your hook through, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both, just as you would for a regular single crochet. Then insert your hook into this first bar of the single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, just like you would for a regular single crochet, yarn over, and pull through both. And that is essentially stacking 2 single crochets on top of each other. If your tension is too tight, you are more than welcome to stack this single crochet again, or only stack it twice. So either way will work fine for this, but if you don't like the looseness of these chains, you are welcome to do a stacked single crochet and then just follow the pattern as you normally would. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook again into this back loop, and create the next double crochet that's called out in the pattern. And as you can see here, it fills in a little bit nicer, and then this is also easier to see when you come back on the other end with your single crochet stitches, so that you don't skip a stitch and then end up not having the right amount of stitches for your repeat. So to continue with this next row, which would be row 5, I have my first 2 essentially double crochet stitches, and then again using the back loops I would make 2 more double crochets in this next stitch, and then again 2 more double crochets in the next, both that are essentially increased stitches. And then we do our series of 5 double crochet, skipping the stitch in between each of them. And then once we have those 5 double crochet to fan our blanket this way, then the next part of the pattern we skip the next stitch, and we are going to place 2 double crochet in each of the next 6 stitches for a total of 12 double crochet. And that starts to bend our blanket back the other way. After we create those 12 double crochet over these 6 stitches, we then skip our next stitch and we will place a double crochet in the next and repeat that 5 times. Coming back to the end of our blanket, skip the next stitch, and in these last 3 stitches we will place 2 double crochet increases for a total of 6 double crochet stitches. I'm then going to turn. I would then chain 1 and single crochet back across for a row 2 repeat in every single stitch that we just created. So now let's just take a little look at this. Like, look at how pretty. Do you see what I mean by the addition of working in these back loops? It gives you this really pretty ridge. If you don't work in the back loop, you pick both of it up, it kind of gets a little bit boring. It's a fun blanket, and that back loop only on every other row really just adds so much more texture to this pattern. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video tutorial. I cannot wait to see the color combinations that you guys come up with for your Not-So-Scrappy blankets, whether you actually shop for yarns and create a really awesome color palette, or maybe you do make this into a super scrappy blanket using all sorts of yarns from your stash. Now, just as a reminder, this pattern is designed so that you can intermix bulky weight and worsted weight yarns, because again, this pattern is designed using worsted weight yarn held double, which essentially creates a bulky. So huge bonus to be able to do that, so that this way you can really mix and match whatever it is that you have in your stash and use up some of those leftover yarn skeins, so that this way none of that scrap yarn goes to waste and you can have a really cozy squishy blanket. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Again, thank you guys so much for watching my tutorials, and keep an eye out for my next free pattern.